I keep forgetting that I film stuff whenever I open up something. So every single time I open up a package, a blister pack, I was like, oh, wait, I film stuff, don't I? Probably should have saved it for the camera, but nobody cares, right? Because for like the two people that watches these, you're here for the product, hopefully, and not for the packaging. Anyway, if you care about the packaging, let me try to reconstruct it as best as I could. This is how it would have looked like. And I waited for this moment. It's a perfect reconstruction. It's that's not right. Like so, more like so, and this part goes here. It's probably upside down. Whatever. This is the card. This is what it would have looked like. It's a Colonial Viper from the original 70s Battlestar Galactica, which I haven't seen. I've heard it's kind of like a low budget, little campy Star Wars knockoff. Don't know, I haven't seen it. This is the 2013, I want to say SDCC, San Diego Comic Con exclusive. It's chromed, like you can see. I'm going to show that in a little bit. I bought both the Viper and the Cylon Raider from eBay for a very nice price. I think two of them put together might be like $10 over the regular releases because they are going for crazy prices as well. So it's like, might as well, right? It's slightly more expensive, but a lot more exclusive. I think I'm happy with the choice because one thing I kind of wondered about is like a lot of these like chrome versions of stuff. First of all, it doesn't look like whatever it is from the show or the movie, right? Because this is supposed to be white. The Silent Raider is supposed to be like kind of a gray. On the other hand, a lot of these things are unpainted, but look at this. This is very well done. So I don't feel bad about it. And the reason I took this Viper from the packaging is because the way it was packaged, I think it might be the specific model, probably rattled and somewhat lodged out of place, and the nose was rubbing on the plastic here. You can see this is where it rubbed. A lot of paint got there. So the nose of the fighter itself was a bit, it's got a little chip. It's not bad. It's not super noticeable. You can barely see it on the camera. It's so slightly more noticeable in hand, but it was fine. But either way, it was like, okay, this is already bad for the model. Might as well take it out. I wasn't planning on reselling this because it's, like I said, I haven't seen the 70s Battlestar Galactica, but I have seen the new ones, and I really love the new show by what's his name? This is bad. There's an R somewhere. Ron Moore. That's right. I got it at the end. Ronald Moore, who obviously started off his career in Star Trek. He sent in a fan script for The Next Generation, and it was very well liked. He did a lot of stuff, I think, in Deep Space Nine, and a lot more prominent role in Voyager, which is about a ship, the USS Voyager, for obvious reasons, stuck in the Delta Quadrant and trying to find their way back to the Alpha Quadrant where Earth is. And that might sound familiar because that is very similar to the plot of Battlestar Galactica, the new one from 2003, I want to say. I'm not perfectly sure about that. But Ronald Moore was actually had a lot of opposition in Star Trek Voyager because they kind of wanted to do something that's more similar to The Next Generation, because Deep Space Nine was a little more controversial. It veered a lot from original Star Trek. The original Star Treks are more episodic. Deep Space Nine was more serialized, and it's slightly controversial. I like Deep Space Nine as a whole. I do definitely prefer The Next Generation, and I'm not the biggest fan of some of the more darker themes in Deep Space Nine, personally speaking. I think it's very well made. I'm not the biggest fan of seeing it in Star Trek. I mean, obviously, there's a caveat, right? Obviously, earlier shows had some dark episodes as well, but it's usually other cultures that were doing it, the Klingons, the Romulans, even the Vulcans every once in a very long while. But it's usually not the Federation, it's not humanity, it's not Starfleet doing that. A lot of the darker themes, it's like, I understand this is very well made, it's well written, it's good. It's just not my thing. I don't want to see it in Star Trek. But for Voyager, Ronald E. Moore wanted to make a want it to be a little more serialized, with every episode having effect for the episodes, show like a passage of time. For instance, seeing the Voyager degrade more and more, or like have for instance, spoilers, I haven't gotten there yet, but like Borg enhancement, like changes to the sets, but it was too costly. They didn't want to spend that kind of money, so a lot of his ideas were shelved, and it's kind of end of every episode, the status quo was returned and has no effect on the next episode. And Ronald D. Moore was given a lot more freedom in the Battlestar Galactica reboot, and it was great. Maybe until like the last season, it's a little problematic, but overall, great show. Anyway, that brings me back to the original Battlestar Galactica, which I got it. With this Colonial Viper is very similar to the Viper Mark II, the kind of the older Vipers we see in the reboot, and we do see the Cylon, the older version of the Cylon Raider a few episodes as well. And just look at this thing, it's beautiful. The lighting is probably going to be problematic. I'm going to turn off my lamp for a while to show you a bit more natural colors. This is all chrome. You see the red lines here, the black plastic for the engines, black paint for the cockpit, and part of it is plastic. I think I would say focus, iPhone, focus, thank you. I want to say this part is metal, yeah, and most of everything else is plastic, which is a little disappointing because I feel like for a premium release, come on, oh, this part is metal as well. This is plastic, so I'm not quite sure where the cutoff is. I think this might be the cutoff. But anyway, it's very well made model. And back here, you kind of see, pardon the notifications from my iPad over there. Come on, you're better than this iPhone. Focus. Thank you. You see the exhaust, not the exhaust, the propulsion system, the engines with the blue, and the landing gear. So, oh my god, this is the third time I've dropped this. I'm starting to wonder if this is a good idea for me to take it out of the package. I'm clumsy, if you haven't noticed. I need like a special box or something to keep it in. It has landing gears. It's gonna land nicely. And for what I'm doing right now, kind of like a joke, is put it on the back of this pickup. This one obviously is from the RWB Porsche. The Porsche is stored right there on the shelf. So there's nothing this thing is carrying right now. So what better thing to put on there than the Colonial Viper? So I love this model. It's very well made. I probably still want to track down the standard releases in the retro entertainment line from the same year, 2003, if I'm not mistaken, and add those to my collections as well. But for the price I got, I could not pass on these two models. And from the same seller, I got the Cylon Raider. This Cylon Raider, again from the original release. I'm not going to open it on camera, but just want to showcase it a little. You see, this is a very nice card. I do want to save the card, so even though I completely destroyed this card, I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, like even for the back of it, it's very nice. It tells you the focus. It tells you the story of the original Battlestar Galactica, which is very nice, lovely. And for this one, I just want to keep the model in car until I have like probably like a permanent place of residence. I don't have to move it around when I have like a proper place to display this. So you can see this is basically the same thing. It's exactly the same. You see here it says for the anniversary you had the release Cylon Raider and Colonial Viper. Yeah, so it's not, it's not individually written, which is kind of a shame. Like, it would be nice to have like some facts about the Viper and some facts about the Raider, but whatever. So this is kind of like a flying wing design. You see the cockpit right here. This model is actually also used on the reboot. kind of like an older generation of Cylon raiders from what was called the Cylon War. And these things are kind of mothballed during the attack on the 13 colonies, although we do see them return a couple of times, I think in later seasons, kind of. Well, you probably don't want me to spoil it, right? And you see here, that's another raider, I'm pretty sure. Actually, yeah, that's another raider. You see this is the underside of it. And back here, a Cylon base star. So this is kind of their mothership. And you can see underside, there's the two engines. And you have some black paint. The cockpit area could probably be a little more detailed. There should be like, you can see here, there should be like gray lining, and here will be like chrome silver linings to properly divide up the cockpit, which is unfortunate, but that's alright. And you also get like, I think this is probably the Cylon emblem. They do have actually don't quote me on that, I'm not sure what that is. And you do have a display stand because presumably, yeah, you can see there's no landing gear on the underside, but there is a hole for the display stand because the Cylon Raider, not the Cylon Raider, the Colonial Viper has landing gears and the Raider does not. And you can see Mattel, and at the back you can see Mattel and Hot Wheels. So I think this is a fantastic model. It's fantastic collector's models for TV accuracy. Obviously you want the normal releases, which are also going very high prices. You know, whenever I find something that's not absurd, I will track it down and buy it. But for now, these are the only I get, and like I said, they're still awesome, and I didn't pay a huge premium on them anyway, so I think it's worth it. Anyway, I do hope they will release some more, oh god, it's so loud outside. Why are still people outside here in New York City? Bloody hell. Anyway, I do hope they release some of the newer Battlestar Galactica stuff, but it's 2020 already, and I don't see that happening. But like a new, like a Viper Mark 7 or a new Cylon Raider, those fully automated ones from new Battlestar Galactica will be great, as well as some of the larger starships, like the Galactica itself, maybe Pegasus, Colonial 1. For on the Cylon side, obviously a new base star will be nice, but that thing is probably going to be super fragile. If you've seen the show, you know what I mean. Like, those things probably do not transform well into toy form, not without, like, I don't know, poking out people's eyes or being extremely breakable. But it'll be nice to see them nevertheless either like rubber or old metal. But anyway, thank you for watching this episode, and I'll be back with, I don't know, other stuff. If I remember to film them as I open, that would be nice. If not, you might see a lot of carnage. You're probably just going to see the episode without the packaging already. So thank you for watching.